Alright, I'm going to do another eclipse video. At the end of this video, I will post everything you need to know about if you want to join me in Talihina for the eclipse. And it's, so this video is going to be kind of long, but I'll throw that at the end. And we're just going to jump right into this because there's so much going on. It's really incredible. I'm so thankful that my life got turned upside down and I got to learn astrology. A different kind of astrology. When it finally clicked to me that alchemy is astrology and astrology is alchemy, and that life itself is alchemy. The zodiac is simply nature's alchemical magic circle. It's the way this place works. And I call it Saturnalian astrology, really, because it's not based on the sun or the moon. It's based on the crown chakra. It's based on Saturn, who rules time. And the zodiac is really everything. Everything is embedded in it, symbolically. And I'm so grateful that I got to learn this. So I see it in many different ways. I see it as alchemy. I see it as astrology. I see it as science, astronomy, cosmology. I see it as Freemasonry, as Kabbalah, as you just name it. Everything is here. Everything is built into this. It's really quite amazing. Now, but there are different points of view, because what we're allowed to know compared to what the elite have always known, there's really two different timelines going on here, two different things going on. And it is a grand illusion what they've been doing to us. But this has been going on for quite a while. I'd like to start this video by telling you that the elite obviously worship the black sun, which is an eclipse. And they've known how to calculate eclipses for the past 300 years, since Halley calculated them out and how it works. Maybe that'll be a video one day on how that all came about. But I do believe even the Mayans, they knew how to calculate eclipses. And that was the one that they tracked: the sun, the moon, the stars. They were heavy into tracking Venus. There is a lot of disinformation about Venus and Saturn. I would say they're the two worst as far as disinformation goes. But it seems that the elite we deal with today, these past few centuries, are definitely taking advantage of eclipses and their black sun worship. Normally, an average year will have 2 eclipses. This year, we have 5. I think the most ever recorded in a year was 7. And that's going to account for lunar and solar eclipses, partial, the ring of fire, and total eclipses. That's going to account for them all. So this year we have 5, which is pretty big. Now, I'm going to start with switching this over, because I've talked about this before. We're going to go to Star Lore and swap this over to the Arabic. I don't know why they call it Arabic. It's not really Arabic. It's so oriental, it's unreal. But that is where the Middle East is part of the Orient. But it is very oriental in just its depictions. But this is the whale. This is the belly of the whale. Speaking of Jonah. Okay, hold on. Let me pause for a second and see if I can't get this to tell us. There we go. Pisces, the whale. That's what this is. And it is the moon that spends 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the whale. Jonah gets spit out at Nineveh. I've said in my last video that there are 9 towns named Nineveh, 8 in the United States alone. It is on the 8th. There are 8 cities of Nineveh and 1 in Nova Scotia. But here in Oklahoma, there's a town named Jonah. Jonah, Oklahoma, that the eclipse will pass through. There are several towns. Of course, I'm sure y'all saw all the videos. They're all over the place. There's a little Egypt. There's a city named Rapture. There's all kind of stuff going on. But the elite are control everything. They're the builders. The Freemasons are the builders. But this is a religion to them. This is the cult of the Black Sun. And what they've got going on is very ritualistic, and it's very different than the Jonah story in Nineveh, which is Jonah went to Nineveh to tell them to repent. Our God was going to destroy their city, somewhat like Sodom and Gomorrah. So they did repent, and Jonah was kind of pissed about it. He wanted to see them taken down. He didn't want them to be forgiven. And boy, do we have that going on here. There are so many people that even if the elite were to grovel and beg for forgiveness, most people wouldn't do it. Their crimes are so atrocious, what they've done to humanity. But in the book of the Gospel of John, not the book of John, the Gospel of John, it tells us the Christ said that all that the Father hath given me will come to me, and I lose nothing save one, that son of perdition. And we can look at son 2 ways, S-O-N and S-U-N. Perdition, the son of perdition goes into judgment. Again, if we want to be, we're in the age of grace. Aries was the law. The Christ shed his blood to cover that. He put his blood on the mercy seat with your name on it, and so we're no longer under the law. We've been redeemed, and the price has been paid in full. It is finished. We are in the age of grace, which is an age of illusion. It's an age of blind faith. Pisces is an age of groupthink. It's about religion. It's about manifesting using the collective subconscious. And religion has fell apart. So in our modern culture, it was replaced with sports and music, and now social media. Anything to get a group think dynamic going on, because that's where they play out their rituals. They used to do it in the church. Now they do it in stadiums with musical stars and sports teams and all different kinds of events where they can gather people together and get them to do things, sing a song, say something, and wave some flags and symbols that they don't have a clue what means, and pull off these Black Sun rituals for them. And they've been planning this ritual for this eclipse for a very long time. This goes all the way back to 9/11. 9/11 was an eclipse ritual They took down the two towers, which are the sun and the moon, and they replaced them with one tower. Two towers shoved into one. It's the moon over the sun. It is that new tower in New York is a depiction of an eclipse, of this eclipse in specific. The two that actually 2017 and 2024. These two. We did have a Ring of Fire eclipse last year, which plays into this and into the symbology. And you know, I see a lot of videos on YouTube that, because they don't understand symbolism, they think that the A and the X that's marked across America is the Aleph and the Tau. And it's not. It's not the Aleph and the Tau. It's the Aleph and the X, which is the mutable cross. It's Gemini. The Aleph and the Tau is Aquarius. The Aleph for air and the Tau for the fixed cross. The A and the X is the Aleph for air and the X for the mutable cross, which is Gemini. And it's about Mercury. Everything is about Mercury to them. Mercury rules all communications, any kind, from the mail to anything that's published, letters, email, TV, radio, internet, any kind of communication. Mercury rules navigation, which is GPS tracking, maps, the compass. He rules the compass in Gemini as the navigator, and he rules the square in Virgo as the builder. Mercury is Freemasonry. The compass and the square, that is Mercury. It's his school. And right now we're in the last decan of Gemini that falls on the summer solstice. That is at the apex, your height of power, your day in the sun, so to speak. It's the longest day of the year, so it's the day in the sun. And then Mercury goes and Gemini go into decline as the mutable cross moves out and the fixed cross moves in. And this eclipse is squaring Gemini. It's in the house of Jupiter. It's in the house of religion. It's in the house of the church. I've always said this fish is the Old Testament. They're still hanging on to this god of war and fire over here. And this fish is trying to get to Aquarius over here. It's the Old Testament church and the New Testament church, but they're tied together by this little star right here. It's called the rope knot, or the tie that binds. It binds these two together. Literally, to me, that's the Vatican, is what that is. That star represents. But this is definitely, if you look at it from the perspective of biblically, it is a time of judgment, a judgment on the church, the bride, so to speak. It is a warning. It is time to get your shit together. And a lot of people are screaming rapture and the return of Christ. Well, I tell you that Thessalonians, that day shall not come till there be a great falling away first, which I do believe we're seeing now, and that man of sin be revealed. And that hadn't happened yet. And that's if you're on the biblical timeline. Myself, I think the illusion is much greater, because to me, it appears that the millennial reign has already occurred. That we're moving into the Son of Man, not the Son of God. It's a totally different thing. But what the elite are doing is like a big coup on the whole world, because they know that A and that X is about Mercury and Gemini, or Mercury and Virgo. Flip it either way. If it's the air sign, which is an inverted aleph, then that makes America definitely, it is the seal of the whore of Babylon, which is what I would call the VX. And the AX is what we're experiencing now. All this woke stuff, upside down rainbow, unicorn, all this going on over here in Gemini. You can go through the different star lores. Whoops. And take out the different. This is Poland and Lithuania. They're twins. Wish I could. Let me pick out some of the better ones. Macedonian has the wolf and the plowman and the cock. All this is part of Gemini. And in the different ones, you get the different stories. The Romanian has them as Remus and Romulus. And they're Cain and Abel. They're Ephraim and Manasseh. They are Hermes and Hermaphrodite, Castor and Pollux, Theseus and Dionysus, Artemis and Apollo. Just on and on and on and on these stories go. But they're definitely venerating the mutable cross, and they're trying to take down they're taking down one empire to set up another. Jupiter rules empire. Let me put this back in the Arabic. Jupiter rules empire. And we've had the empire of the church. But in the last few hundred years, we've had the British Empire, which to me are what you call the seven kingdoms. You had the Babylonian kingdom, the Medo-Persian kingdom, the Grecian kingdom, the Egyptian kingdom, the Roman kingdom, the British kingdom. All these are empires. And then you have which is America, is the eighth, but comes from the seventh. The British Empire is in decline. Its Commonwealth is falling apart. We're kind of watching that happen right now. And they're taking it all down so they can bring in their new world order. We need a new order of the world so that it's N-O-W. And that reversed is W-O-N. You know, I had a dream. I've had several dreams about all of this. It's kind of ruled my whole life. But I have one that about this great destruction that's coming and an earthquake that's coming. This same repetitive dream my whole life. And I'm here in Oklahoma in the dream when it happens. And then we start moving eastward and going to meet the coming of this. We're seeing the sign of the Son of Man coming in the clouds. But right now, it ain't the Son of Man coming in the clouds. All the symbolism says it's Gemini rising, Mercury rising, red Mercury over here in Gemini. Let's put it in the Western tradition, because that's the symbolism they're using right now. They're using the unicorn and the dog and pony show, and you know that part, if not most of Orion is part of Gemini. You've got the rabbit, the fox, the lynx, which is as a roaring lion. It's not a lion, but it has. You've got Capella, the man with the goat man. Right now we have Uranus with Jupiter conjunct Algol, which is the head of Medusa. It's going to turn everybody's brain to stone, which is funny because the movie Rocky Horror Picture Show, it's about Mercury. It's about Mercury coming here, and he's Dr. Frankenfurter. He's experimenting on people. He's got a rainbow agenda going on. Everybody's doing the time warp ritual. He wants himself a man with blonde hair and a tan. And at the end of the movie, everybody falls in the water, turns to stone, and Riff Raff and Magenta, the butler did it, come to take him home. The Castor and Pollux. And they take him out. His time is short. He's the little devil. Hold on. You can see the Mercury symbol. It looks like a man with little horns. Well, Mercury and Gemini, its color is red. He's the little man. He's the red man with horns. And how they tell you that's Lucifer. They tell you that's Venus. He's the AX. He's the axe. He's Loki. He's the trickster. Be careful what you wish for with him. He rules fiat currency. He rules the money. He rules corporate logos, communication, navigation, information, data, tracking, all of it. And he rules Big Pharma with his Hermes name and his retrograde symbol. Everything. You know, men lie, people lie, books lie, but the symbols don't lie. And they're old as anything here. These symbols of alchemy and astrology are worldwide, through every culture, every language. They have slight variations to them, but if you just look at them for a minute and understand what a sigil is, then it will all make sense. You can see it in their art. But it's all about red Mercury, which is what we use in our thermostats to gauge how hot it is. Now, because this eclipse is in Pisces, it's opposing Virgo. So, this energy from this eclipse will continue until the next total eclipse happens somewhere else. And that energy will throw off earthquakes for the United States, because this is a seal. Number one, this A and this X, that's a heavenly seal. That's not the elite. That is alchemy itself projecting that. Nature itself projecting this. And it's like beware, because the devil's coming down to us, people. What's fixing to happen in America is the biggest show on earth. It's the grand finale. It's what they've been waiting for. It's all of their rituals pointing to it. Fukushima as well. Fukushima was part of it. Fukushima was the earth, water, feminine axis. And 9/11 was the fire, air, masculine axis that divides the mutable cross from the fixed cross. So I'm telling you, we've got 2 dates left. We have the 3/11 and the 9/11, which is really 1/11 and 7/11. But we're missing the 6/11 and the 12/11. They haven't played those out yet. And to me, this year, I figured it would be before the eclipse. But, they did 9/11 and 3/11 before the eclipse. So they very well might do them after the eclipse. But one will be the earth water, which will throw the New Madrid. That's what they're doing. They've already done the BP oil spill, which BP is 216. That's the number of their god, 216. And it anointed the Gulf of Mexico, where you have Padre Island and Corpus Christi, the body of Christ. It's all there. They're going to birth the new mother. New mother. The New Madrid means new mother. And her water's going to break and through the Mississippi River and give birth to their new world order. This has all been planned. And they've known about it for at least 300 years. That they've been plotting, scheming, planning, and every other kind of criminal activity they can to pull this off. And what are they trying to pull off? World domination. That's the name of the game. It's world domination. You can look at the Freemason tracing board, and it has the checkerboard floor and the two pillars, the sun and the moon, the black and the white. And they've given everybody a QR code. They're pushing these QR codes for everything. And that's just a Masonic checkerboard floor in chaos. It's in chaos. I'm starting to see so much more in the IPEC Goat 2. The little Shiva doing the dance, pulling off all the masks. That's Mercury as Little Boy Blue. And Gemini as Castor and Pollux, one is red and one is blue. You literally, so much of the New Testament alludes to Mercury being an imposter Christ. That's why I don't even like using Jesus, because that's Jesus. That's the son of Zeus. He's of Zeus. And that's Mercury. That's the son of God. The God of this age is Jupiter. We're told to wait on the son of man. And that is Aquarius. That's why I call him Thalem. The star of Bethlehem. Fomalhaut is Thalem. Means the master, rabbi, teacher. He's the one who sacrificed himself. Not this phony, fake Jesus, antichrist, anti-Jesus, whatever, anti-son of man. But when everything falls apart, after everything's said and done, you get the line, and then you will see the sign of the Son of Man coming in the clouds. You'll see the sign of Aquarius. What is the sign of Aquarius? Hold on. There are many different symbols for Aquarius. Your typical, this would be the Western, where it looks like the zigzag motion, to where, see if we got one. The Eastern tradition has it in more of a wave form. But if you just put the little lines between it, it's a DNA symbol. You have the water bearer symbol. You have a Saturn symbol. You have an Aleph symbol and a Tau symbol that all belong to Aquarius. It's the Son of Man. It's the sun and the sign of the man. But this is what we're waiting on. Gemini, the two pillars. Even have the two pillars of Freemasonry right there. His little devil, he's a little devil. But I'm starting to see through it all. I hope you guys do too. Every one of you should download Stellarium. It's free. Go over in Starlore. And every week pick a different constellation and just learn the stars. It used to be a lot better. They've kind of scrubbed it. It was so much better before. But yeah, they're fixing to roll out. They're fixing to roll out their Antichrist is what's coming. And I'm very curious as to whom it might be or what it might be. Probably it's kind of a both thing. But I know that all of the symbolism for the United States, all of it is deceived us, enslaved us. Lady Justice standing up on the Supreme Court. She's blindfolded and her scales are not balanced. They call it criminal justice for a reason. There's no such thing as victim's justice. This whole setup that's been done to us. I think probably the absolute worst thing that they do to humanity is the way we're born. That we're born upside down. They slap us, immediately take you from your mother and copy the soles of your feet. The soles of your feet. They're taking ownership of you. It's a ritual when your mother's pregnant. But the way that children are born, at least here in the United States, if you're a little boy, then they're going to circumcise you. And then God knows what they do with all of our placentas or our foreskins and all of that. I'm sure that goes in some kind of other ritual as well. Because these characters know no bounds. And if Satan's been cast down to us, which it's obvious, I don't know who's worse. The Jew Peter or Mercury. I don't know which one is worse. At least Jupiter was covert about it. He is empire, he's expansion, but Mercury is just devious. Just devious. Especially with the big pharma crap and some of the other crap. But hell-bent on world domination. That is obviously, it's like I said, Freemasonry's that checkerboard floor. The moon pillars the queen and the sun pillars the king. And you know who's got all the power in that? The queen does. She can move anywhere on the board. The sun can't be seen at night. He rules the day, but the moon can be seen at night and during the day, and even eclipse the sun to the black sun. And it is Eastern Oriental tradition that venerates the feminine. They're all lunar worship. Hebrew is lunar worship. The Vedas, everything in India is predominantly based on Mercury as Buddha. Mercury is Buddha. And it's all lunar. It's a lunar astrology. Vedic astrology is more about the moon. Western astrology is about the sun. But their solar pillar is leaning by 23.5 degrees. It's not accurate. It's in error. And nobody says anything. They just go along with it. I've asked many of them why, and they can't explain it. They just accept it. Just like we accept all this crap about Venus that I can readily show you that it has everything to do with Mercury, not Venus. All of this evil shit about Saturn that I can show you is either Jupiter or Mercury. This is their age. Saturn's just playing the waiting game. His time's coming. And sure, this is an age of mercy, grace, and blind faith. But when you're in the know, you don't have to have faith anymore. And literally, our churches are the blind leading the blind. And it breaks my heart, because we were told to be wise as serpents, but gentle as doves. But the minute you try to start learning this stuff, your own churches condemn you. You're not allowed to look at it. That's evil. Well, we're told to be wise as serpents. And the serpents, they speak a symbolic language. And it's taken me over 50 years to figure it out. And I'm still figuring it out. But I know that what they've got planned and what the Bible's got planned and what nature's got planned are really looking like three different things. It's like three different timelines playing out. And we're going to get to see it go down. You know, different cultures around the world look at eclipses in a different way. And for the Western tradition, for the sun in the West, for the sun to have an eclipse is a bad thing. Heads are going to roll. Marie Antoinette lost her head in an eclipse in Paris. But it's opposite in the East. In the Oriental tradition, it is the lunar eclipse that brings evil and destruction. And even different tribes of the Americas, some saw the eclipse as a very evil thing, and others saw it as like a new beginning, a second chance, a do-over, that you had been through the hardest part. And, you know, they say the end is the beginning. The end of one thing is the beginning of another thing, and that you can't have the end without the beginning, hence the Ouroboros. They're one and the same. The Bible tells us, I told you the end from the beginning. I told you what the end was. It's the same. It's repeat and repeat. All right. I'm going to just jump right into some of the logistics of what all's going on. All right. This is the new Patreon. It is going to be hosting our podcast. The first podcast is done. But it will be Wednesday before I launch it. I have some more logistics to work out here. But the first video has been produced. Just waiting to publish it. And once I get past all the logistics, then we're going to launch this. And this is going to be a fundraiser to help produce our alchemical tarot deck. That will just be pure symbolism without all the confusing art. We will use the symbols and the colors. It will also come with a book that you will not have to have a microscope to read. And it will come with 5 inserts that you can take out and use. A chakra man, a Freemason tracing board, the Kabbalah tree of life, the pair of hands, and there's one more. I forget, there's one more. There are 5 inserts that go all together. Probably 6, because I'm going to give you the alchemical symbols, an insert for the symbols, where you can take them out, open them up, and put them on your wall. That way you can move the planets where they go every day. And that's going to fund that. And it's not going to be easy to do. It might take a while, but we're going to do a weekly podcast. I'm going to try to upload them, have them uploaded on Wednesdays. That way it'll get you through the week. We'll do it on Hump Day. This is the community center. This is where we're going to be holding our little gathering at. It'll fit about 200 people, but there will be standing room. I doubt we get that many, seriously, but I hope as many of you come as possible, because you're not going to want to miss this. I'm going to go really deep, and I'm going to be talking and showing a lot of stuff that you just can't do on the internet. And it's going to be mostly biblically based, because in America, that's just the background that most of us have. We were raised at least knowing something about the Bible and religion. And we have the venue for 4 hours. I'm trying to get more time because it's 4 hours, and I'll offer breaks during the time as well. So you don't have to be sitting or standing for 4 hours. So don't worry about that. I would like to thank Julie for this list. She took the time to do this for us. But there are multiple events happening in Talihina. Spring break, the solar eclipse, graduation. So these are all the places that you can. I'll scroll it down so you can expand it. And there are cabins, Airbnbs, some hotels, and campsites. But there are quite a few here. And you can just pick one if you're still looking for a place to stay. Now, I'm going to be there for 3 days, on the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. The 7th is kind of going to be just a setup day. Just go in, get settled in, and get organized. That's going to be on a Sunday. The 8th is on a Monday. Now, anybody's welcome to come to the eclipse. There's no charge or anything for that. How do you charge to see an eclipse? That's free. It's for the world. We're told to look up. So that's what we're going to do. And everybody's welcome to come to that if you just want to come for the eclipse. I'll show you where we're going to meet. On the day of the eclipse, I'm going to be right there. This is Talihina, this is 271, and this is Talihina Drive in the red. And we're going to be at the Talihina end, and there's like a little welcome center ranger station right here, and it has a really big parking lot. That's where we're going to meet. And the eclipse is at about 1:30 to 2 o'clock, so we're all going to meet right here at 12 o'clock. Straight up noon, at the Ranger Station Welcome Center at the corner of Talihina Drive and 271. Some of you have contacted me already. You have got hotel rooms in places besides Talihina. That's fine. But this is where we're going to meet at straight up noon on the 8th at the Ranger Station Welcome Center at the very beginning of Talihina Drive. And the lecture that I'm giving will be on Tuesday. It's going to be the next day. So a lot of you, if you just want to come in for the eclipse on this day, that's fine. You can just meet us right here. And but we'll after the eclipse, after we watch the eclipse, we can all gather somewhere else. There's a lot of you coming in campers and that are going to be staying at some of the state parks. I'll try to have us somewhere we can just meet up right after the eclipse, that we can go do something without, because there's going to be a lot of people in Oklahoma. All of the cities and towns and the state troopers and everybody is really ramping up. Emergency services, all of that. They're telling you, come with a full tank of gas. Make sure you have cash on hand. Make sure your phone's charged. Make sure you have a spare tire. And I highly recommend that, because Mercury is retrograde during this eclipse, which is not a good time for travel. Hence, that's why I'm leaving early to get settled in. I don't want to be caught with my pants down. I've had a really hard time adjusting to all the new back pain I've been having to deal with. And but I will be there, even if I'm in a wheelchair. I will be there on the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. And we can we're going to do all kind of stuff, actually. We can go have coffee and lunch and just sit and talk. A lot of you are going to have an opportunity you probably waited on for a long time. But we'll gather together at different places. Now, I'm trying, my intention is to have a camper and get in one of the parks, one of the RV parks or the state park. But I'm having trouble getting with the person who's got the camper. They've not been emailing me back. It's a rental. So, I don't really know what's going on. But even if I have to, I'll just drive. I'll just leave every morning and drive over to Talihina and spend the day and then drive back in the evening. My problem is Kelly. I can't leave her overnight alone. And so I need a way that I can either bring her with me or that I'm going to have to travel back and forth. She's just too old to leave for 3 days by herself. That's not possible. That would be cruel. This is where we're going to meet. It's Winding Stair National Recreation Area. It's a pretty big parking lot over here. And Talihina Drive is right here, right beside it. We're going to meet in this parking lot over here and hang out right here till our group all gathers. And I will be here from 12 to 12:30. And then we're going to move up the mountain. We're going to go in a day early and try to get our spot all nailed down. So it's just our group. There are different little scenic turnouts. And we're going to try to get one that can hold as many people. If possible, we need to leave as many cars as we can in this parking lot. And double up and ride share. I'll have my van so I can transport at least 5 or 6 people. And hopefully the rest of you will be kind and share and double up. That way we don't have as many vehicles going up that mountain. Because we're not the only ones doing this, I assure you. You're welcome to get your own look at the solar eclipse glasses. I will have some extras that I'm not looking to make a profit on. Just I bought them in bulk so that they go with, if you want to come to the lecture, you get them for free. Now, about the tickets. That has been a nightmare trying to deal with that. And I haven't really set it up yet on how I need to do this. I might just have to do them straight off this channel right here. Or you can pay at the door. But I have not decided on... because all we really want to do is cover the cost of the venue. And it's going to cover the cost of the glasses. And then I'll have refreshments for the lecture. You're going to make sure you have some water and some coffee and maybe some iced tea and just something to snack on so you're not sitting there the whole time with nothing. And we're just going to make sure everybody eats, and it's just going to cover the cost. So, and that really depends upon how many people show up, right? So we're thinking about $20 a ticket should cover it if we just got half of the people. Just half. If we only did half, then that should cover the cost of everything. But I am willing, if you cannot afford $20, I know how tight money is right now for everybody. I definitely feel the pinch that to just make a donation. Just make any type of donation to help cover some cost, and we'll be grateful for that. We just want to make sure the venue's covered, and our refreshments, and our glasses, and who knows what else we might decide to throw in there. We're going to get little hats. Actually, I've decided that we're going to get crowns, because this is what this is about, is we're going to claim our sovereign crowns, because that's the whole plan of what they're doing. the eclipse thing is a crown thing. The coronavirus is a crown thing. Everything they're doing, the upside down rainbow flag is stealing your crown thing. So they're trying to take our crowns, which is what you get in Aquarius. Everybody becomes their own king. You become your own sovereign. And so we're going to do our own little reverse eclipse ritual from what they're doing. Okay, I will have Signs and Wonders podcast ready to go on Patreon. Hopefully, it'll be up and running by Wednesday morning. Things have just been so hectic for me. I'm having a really bad time with Kelly lately. And I'm about to pull my hair out over it. Ever since last summer, fleas have taken over my yard. And I don't know. I've had all kind of stray animals coming through. But I have attacked them. I've spent so much money trying to get rid of them. And I noticed that a lot of the flea stuff, especially for your yard, it's not the same anymore. They've taken it from us without telling us. Even like your flea meds and stuff, if you use those on your dog, I got to reading the packages and realizing what they've done. And I mean, I've spent a lot of money that I did nothing but feed them, is what it seemed like, because they only got worse. But bless her heart, she's never had fleas. So when she just gets one, she's literally pulling her hair out over it. Literally. Just wads of hair in these little ball spots because she's not used to itching. And it's driving her batty and it's driving me batty. Oh my hands have been full. All right, people, you know what to do. Commit those random acts of kindness. That's really going to get us through this. Love covereth a multitude of sins, and that's what a random act of kindness is. It's a true expression of love. When you see people, they're not strangers. Their bodies are strangers, and these ego personalities are strangers. But I assure you, that soul on the inside, it might be asleep, but it's in there and it knows you. And we need to have an open, forgiving heart. This is an age of forgiveness and grace. Grace is unmerited favor, and none of us deserve it. But we're moving to Aquarius, and there is not going to be any grace, no mercy. It's going to be one law, and that's the law of equivalent exchange. To get something, you must give something. No free rides. It's action and reaction, cause and effect, karma and dharma. You will reap what you sow. And so a very, very different world than what we live in right now. And it might seem really cruel because of this blind faith, age of grace, that a lot of these really bad people, we're just going to have to let it go and let God. He's the judge. Don't judge him. That's why I don't even watch television. I don't do politics. That's not my storyline. That's their burden to bear. We can do nothing about this. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Give it to him. And just let go, and just you do you. Because that's all any of us can do. We're told to take up our cross and follow him. We're supposed to literally take up our cross and follow Fomalhaut. That's literally, there's no other way to translate that. The symbology says it all, the linguistics says it all, the names of the stars and the Arabic literally tell you. But we've been deceived, we've been lied to by religion, by science, by the government, by the education system. Nothing that they've ever told us is real. It's all bullshit. And you wonder why. Again, they're out for world domination. All right. I paused for a second and got my ducks in a row here. And it looks like that is going to be the best way to go. Is that here's how we're going to do it. if you want to go to the lecture, it will start at 1:30 on the 9th at the Community Center in Talihina. Tickets will be $20 each. If you can't afford $20, that's fine. Just donate what you can. And here's how we're going to do it. You can either send it to me in the mail, which is fine. I'll just, you won't get a reply. You'll just have entrance at the door. But if you want to send it to me on PayPal, send me $21. And I'm going to send you $1 back as confirmation that you're on the list to get in. If you can't afford $20, send what you can plus $1. I will send it back to you as confirmation that you have your ticket. All right, people. Love you bunches. I should have a video up on Wednesday announcing Signs and Wonders podcast. And we have a special guest for our first podcast that you'll get to meet at the eclipse gathering. Ollie Bobby and I invited Margie, who is the regression therapist. And we had a discussion with her, so y'all are going to get to know her. And I'm going to try to get an interview with Julie before the eclipse and get that one posted as well. So you're going to get to meet everybody. Ollie Bobby's telling us of his story of how we all came to know each other and our backgrounds and how we either came from a religious background to where we are now in this walk, in this little journey. I've spent quite a bit of time with both of them. They're both from Texas, and they come up here and spent quite a bit of time with me, and I really enjoy having both of them here. And I think you're going to like them too. And so get ready. It's all coming down really fast in the next few weeks.